So I want to talk through the David Attenborough Building and some of the insights from that. We had an existing building, so we could go and talk to people about what they thought of their existing building, what they liked and what they didn't, and that included qualitative evidence. And we found there's actually a lot of things they did like about the building. They liked the location, they quite liked the tall ceilings, they liked some of the views. But the bus survey, which showed quantitative information, showed there's a number of things that actually they weren't terribly happy with, including thermal comfort in winter, perceived health, perceived productivity. And so there's plenty to go at to create a much better place. And so then we arranged a series of workshops with the building users to really understand what worked, what didn't, and try and arrive at a consensus of some priorities for the project, and plotted those on a graph, an axis of impact versus influence. And the things on the top right included things that mattered as top priorities. That included health and well-being, retaining the existing building, improving the operational energy consumption, and improving collaboration between these disparate research entities and NGOs. And also biodiversity was obviously very important, because this is the David Attenborough Building after all. They got named that later. So then we set some performance targets, and we set a target of at least a 40% reduction in operational carbon. Interestingly, going to look at the existing building loads, a large chunk of it was for servers, but we knew they're going to get relocated anyway, so we excluded those from the baseline because we thought that was a bit too easy. But we thought at least a 40% reduction was quite achievable. And then we did a bottom-up analysis using CIPSE TM54 for those in the know, and we thought we might actually be able to get around 170 kilowatt hours per metre squared per annum. So somewhere between those two is probably where we're going to end up. And then it's about designing for performance in practice, not just compliance. So moving away from the norms of design standards, looking at the CIPSE adaptive comfort standard, which is a little bit more forgiving in summer, accepting the fact that people are quite happy to have a slightly broader tolerance of summertime temperatures. Also, the University of Cambridge had their own criteria as well, that the internal temperature shouldn't be more than 3 degrees greater than the external temperature. And then we also looked at future weather years. This is something which is becoming hardwired into planning now in London, which is a really, really valuable thing. But at the time we're doing this, nobody was doing it. And what it shows actually is that, actually you might get quite a few days right up to, high 30s and 39 degrees. And there could be sustained periods of a week or two when it's above 30 degrees outside. So we've got to start thinking about different ways of designing buildings to cope with those kind of situations. And as a result, we put in phase change material into the roof, the lightweight roof, to provide some additional thermal mass. Other things that went in included internal insulation and double glazing to sort out that winter problem. We punched an atrium right into the middle of the building to bring daylight right into the heart of the workspace, and then had daylight linking to make best use of the daylight so we could turn off the lights when we don't need them. As I say, thermal mass on the top floor through phase change material, and then exposed concrete everywhere else, coupled with nighttime cooling to give us the passive environmental control.